Welcome to Eastern Illinois, where things really happen!
Oh, welcome back to Materials Testing. Let's see what Brian's doing.
Oh, hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing the tensile testing. My name is Brian, and we're going to take this piece of specimen here and machine it down. But for that, we're going to need to go down to the production lab where Todd's going to show us how to do all that. So come on down.
In this tutorial, we're going to be making an ASTM E8 test specimen out of T6 aluminum. It involves 5 processes. You take your basic raw stock, it's ASTM, or it's T6 aluminum. We will face each end. We will center drill each end. We will do our reduced diameter, and we will thread it. So we're going to cut our 6 1/8 inch length piece of stock. As I said before, this is T6 aluminum, 1 inch thick diameter, and we're going to be cutting it at 6 1/8 inches. Best way to do this is line up your rule next to the flush against the edge of the blade. Take your measurement, lock it in, move the rule. Cut. When you have your piece of raw material cut and ready to be turned into a E8 test specimen. As part of the operation, we're going to face both ends of our raw stock. In order to do that, we're going to use the Nardini lathe. What we're going to do is we're going to insert the piece about 2/3 of the way into our chuck. We're going to tighten the chuck, ensuring that the piece is sitting in there square. You want to make sure you remove your tool immediately after you tighten up the chuck. Close your latch. Turn on the lathe. The lathe will be set up, so all you have to do is insert your part. You're going to touch off at about a 1/16 of an inch. And you're going to face the part as such. When you're done facing the first side, you turn it off, open up your latch. Remove your stock, remove your tool. And we're going to take this over to the height gauge, and we're going to mark this with a paint, and we'll do our final height gauge and cut this piece to, or face it to 6 inches. Okay, to use the height gauge, this will loosen and tighten your slide. We don't need to mess with any of these here. If you have a hard time reading your scale, we have a magnifying glass. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this 0 mark, and say you want to mark your piece at 1 inch. This is your 1 inch mark. We would line that 0 with your 1. You can be very accurate with this. Tighten it down. And now your height gauge is set at 1 inch. So once you have your first side face, you're going to mark up the other side with the paint. It's a blue mark-up paint. It'll be right next to the height gauge. You'll paint this and make sure you use your flat side on this granite slab, and you will score the top. Now this height gauge is set at 6 inches. So if you mark this correctly and you take it back to the lathe, once you face this off, you'll have a 6 inch piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove material up to this line. And we're going to do it in a single pass. And we now have our piece faced on both sides. Should be exactly 6 inches. For this step, we're going to do a center drill on each faced end. We're going to use an Ardini again for this operation. Insert your piece into the cut. Tighten it. Make sure you remove your tool. Close your latch. You want to take it in about 2/3 of the way and back it out. And you do the same to the other end. Okay, once we have our piece faced and center drilled on both sides, we're going to mark it up the full length so we can make our marks for our center reduction. And you just need to do a light coat on one side. You don't need to paint. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make our marks for the area that we're going to do our 1/2 inch reduction on in the center. This will be our gauge length. In order to do that, I have set the height gauge at 1.875 inches. And you'll simply do the same thing you did when you were doing your facing length. And you will scribe the piece as such on both sides. You kind of want to make it a little deep. And you do it on both sides. Then we have our marks, and we take this over to the south bend, and we will machine our gauge.